My name is Cass and welcome. This video is of course all about movement. I will try to show the more advanced movement techniques as well as explain which one is probably the fastest one. So first let's create some baselines. We will use the slowest form of movement in Splatoon, which is running. And I use slowest in air quotes here because it isn't exactly the slowest form, but it will suffice for our case, as well as use the fastest method of movement, which is of course swimming in your own ink. As you can see, it takes me around 8 seconds to travel the distance. Next up we have swimming. Swimming should be the fastest method, and at around 4 seconds it is way faster than normal running, of course. So now that we have our two baselines, let's talk about the most interesting part of this video, splat dashing and splat jumping. First let's talk about splat jumping or splat hopping, which can be a bit more complicated to learn. It is done by holding the ZL button as well as pressing forward, and to alternate between the jump button X and shooting ink with ZR. As you can see for our little distance here, it takes splat hopping around 7 seconds. So it is about 1 second faster than normal running, but still way slower than of course swimming. But it can be used without any ink or even enemy ink on the ground. So it is still quite useful. Next up we have splat dashing. Splat dashing is a bit easier to learn, because you will only have to hold the ZL button, press forward and just press ZR when you are out of your little ink pool, so you can create another ink pool which you can swim through then. As you can see, it's input wise a lot easier than splat jumping or hopping, but it can be a bit complicated to get into the rhythm of it and really perform it well. With about 6 seconds it should be the quickest method of movement, besides of course swimming, but these times might be the least accurate. The problem is that all of my ground is already covered in ink, so it might be slower without ink. I'm not 100% sure, but while I tested it without recording, it felt still pretty quick. I also have a little theory on why I think that splat dashing is one of the fastest, if not the fastest, method of movement, and that is because it utilizes a little bit of swim speed. Splat hopping, on the other hand, only really uses your ability to jump further in squid form with a little bit of a startup. Even though splat dashing only really uses a small amount of swimming, I still think that this small amount is enough to make it really quick, and as you can see, swimming with only 4 seconds is way faster than any of the movement techniques that I'm able to show here. So it might be that this little bit of swimming really makes it a better, or not really better, but quicker method of movement. I don't really want to say that it is a better technique, because I'm quite sure that both techniques have their place. For example, I think that splat hopping is probably quicker when you are going up a slope. It also seems better when you are traveling through enemy ink. There is a third technique, but I wasn't really able to record any footage because it really requires that there is no ink on the ground, and because I am in the tutorial section with the Testfire off, I'm not really able to just reset it and start again and test it then. So apologies, so I will do another movement video when Spatoon is officially released. Next up I wanted to test stealth swimming, which is a pretty interesting and unique technique, which I first saw in Wiley's awesome Splatoon movement tutorial video, which I will also link in the description below. To stealth swim you simply have to not hold the left stick all the way down. It sounds pretty simple, but in practice it can be a bit more complicated. And as you can see, my times heavily fluctuated between my different tries. So it took me around 6 to 10 seconds to travel the distance. So it really depends on how skilled you are with the left stick. With the best time being about 6 seconds, I'm really interested to know how much the gear ability Stealth Swim will slow you down. It might be more for convenience, but it also could be still quicker than manual stealth swimming. I'm really interested to know that. Last but not least, let's talk about turning. The 180 turning while swimming feels a little bit sluggish, so I wanted to know if there is any other method which makes it better and feel more fluid. Another trick I discovered in this video was shift cancelling, and with that shift turning. As you can see, it cancels the animation when you quickly tap the ZL button and change in and out of squid form. But even so, it seems quicker. As you can see, both take around 13 seconds to complete 3 laps. That's about it. I hope that you liked this video and that it was informative and hopefully not too dry. If you have any questions or suggestions, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. My name is Cass and I hopefully see you next time.